So this first one today is about goal setting. So you definitely need a notebook of some sort. So this is my notebook so far for 2022. And I've got a whole heap of other notebooks, but it is really good to have a notebook. Jill has got her notebook that she has had since the beginning, which has got the whole of her journey. And it is really lovely to go through. So maybe Jill will do a little chat, a little recorded chat with me one day, and we can actually go through her notebook and share what you can put in it, because it does really, really help. Helen, you've probably hopefully got the same notebook, and Sarah. Right, so the first thing to do is make sure you've done your priority ladder. So the first check-in for this week was to do your priority ladder, which is drawing yourself a nice little ladder. It doesn't need to be anything really special. Literally, there we go. Just like that. And then on your priority ladder, you write up to 6 things that are important for your fitness, your nutrition, well-being. I know some of you have done it already, but just have some time to remember about it. So it might be things linked to the daily reminders. It might be about your daily movement. It might be exercise. It might be more protein. It might be increasing fruit, increasing veggies, increasing sleep. So there can be a whole range of things. Because now that we're going to talk about goal setting, you want to have that priority ladder by you so you can keep coming back to it, because it's going to help your goal setting. If you haven't done the priority ladder, don't worry, because you'll probably come to it as I'm chatting away. So with goal setting, it's always good to have a goal to keep us on track. You don't have to have a formalized SMART goal. It doesn't have to be in any language, but it's good to have some kind of goal that you want to get at the end of 8 weeks. It might be you want to work in smaller chunks and you want to have a goal for the end of 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. You can break it down. So on your little notebook, maybe have some goals that you can come to think about. So it might be to increase protein. It might be to start running more. So like I sprained my ankle very annoyingly like 3 weeks ago, and I haven't been running since. So my goal is very much about single leg strengthening. It's about batch cooking meals. It's about prioritizing sleep, prioritizing rest. So it's all going to be different. Anyway, right. So I'm going to start the goal setting now. So with the goal setting, we're going to break it down into different chunks. So first of all, we're going to think of non-scale wins. So your non-scale wins are wins that are nothing related to the scale. So if you have a little subtitle, non-scale wins, these are the things that you want to achieve. So we're not just having one goal. We're breaking it down. So your non-scale wins might be, you can chip in, guys, if you want, might be to fit into a dress. So I've got a silver dress that's far too appropriate for me to wear now. It's like a short silver dress, but I always make sure I can zip it up. So I put on weight very, very easily. So that is a non-scale win for me, to zip up the dress. And after certain times of the year, maybe that dress is a little bit tighter, or when I come off track a little bit, it is a little bit tighter. That is a non-scale win. You might have non-scale wins to be able to sleep throughout the night, because that is affected by exercise and stress management. Non-scale win might be about stress management. Non-scale win, I'm just going to keep chatting about non-scale wins. Non-scale wins, there's loads of them. It might be that you're cooking more balanced meals. It might be your non-scale win is that you haven't got as much cravings. It might be your digestion is better, your sleep is better, your stress is better, your recovery is better when you go for a walk and you're not so stiff. Your cravings are reduced, your mood, your energy. Do you get the picture? So it's everything to do. So if you want to have at the end of 8 weeks, or you can break it down, because we will do this again. If you say at the end of 2 weeks or 4 weeks, you want some non-scale wins, write down 4, what you want to have at the end of 4 weeks. And that's quite personal for everyone. Anyone wants to unmute themselves and share, then it's fine. So non-scale wins. Okay. So up to 4. Okay, then the next one, we're going to talk about scale wins. Those who've just joined, I am just chatting you through this. You need to have your notebook so you can enter in. enter bits in. Okay, so for a goal setting, we have talked about the non-scale wins, and now we're going to talk about the scale wins. Now, never, ever, ever give yourself one scale weight. So when I first started the reset, which is nearly 3 years ago, yeah, it would be 3 years ago this September, 2.5 years ago, people they just had one scale weight as a target. So those that do want something on the scale, but now I really encourage you to go for a range, because actually the scale doesn't show everything. That's why we need the non-scale wins as well. So if you're wanting to lose weight, choose a chunk of weight that is achievable. You want to be getting any more than 1 to 2 pounds a week. So if you think it was an 8-week challenge and you wanted to lose 1 to 2 pounds a week, it's not what's going to happen, is it? So probably an achievable amount to lose over 8 weeks is anything from £4 to £8. Now, some of you might lose more than £8. That's fine, but give yourself a range. So for example, over 8 weeks, I want to lose £4 to £8. And that's quite achievable, isn't it? Because what you find is when you have too much of a weight loss, like I want to lose a stone in 8 weeks, it becomes too aggressive. And then we want this to be a lifestyle. So if you had £4 to £8 over 8 weeks, the next 8 weeks, you can do the same and you can sustain it. And again, and again. So have a think about what you want. Those who've just joined, don't worry, we've just talked about non-scale wins that I'll go back to, and scale wins. So have a think about your scales. So far you should have written down some non-scale wins that you're going to have. Does anyone want to share their non-scale wins? Is anyone happy to do that? Go on, Jill.
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Jill. For me, definitely noticing like more flexible. I've just sort of stopped being as active over the last couple of weeks, and I'm really noticing that. Just a little bit stiffer and things. So I'm hoping that will improve. Definitely improve my sleep, more energy. And when I drink more water, I really notice that my skin and my eyes like feel fresher and better. So I'm hoping for that. And definitely less cravings. Need to get back on that as well.
Well, you've just had a really special weekend, haven't you, Jill? You've had your sister's wedding.
Yeah, that's right. So that's why I'm starting today.
And that's like super special. So yeah, so that's great. Jill's saying, so Karen has just joined on non-scale wins. We're saying it's really good to have some non-scale wins that we want to achieve over the 8 weeks, as well as the scale wins. So yeah, Jill, thank you. And Jill, do you want to tell them a little bit about your notebook, your special book?
Yeah, when did I can't remember, Kirsty. I should look back in my book actually. Yeah, I think I started with Kirsty last February, half term. Yeah, February 2021. I haven't been brilliant with my notebook, but when I'm like doing a reset and on track, I use it just to write down literally every day across 2 pages, just sort of jot in the days of the week. And I kind of joined for weight loss, I guess. So I was kind of tracking what I was eating right back at the start. But now when I look, I was kind of doing a bit of calorie counting and stuff using, I have like a Fitbit. So I was using that to track my food, just sort of measuring my weight once a week, once every couple of weeks. And just writing down my exercise and when it was a rest day, just using the book really to plan things alongside Kirsty's notes.
Because then it helps something. It's something to look back on as well, and it does really help. It means you can go back and what doing. Does anyone else want to share their non-scale wins of things they want to achieve? You don't have to, it's fine. Okay, so Karen, you might want to have a think about what you want to have for your non-scale wins. You don't need to say it, don't worry, I just picked on Jill then, she was quite happy to share. So what you want to achieve over the 8 weeks. Okay, so this one, girls, the next one. So we've done non-scale wins. We've talked about the scale wins that you want a range. And the next one is your challenges. The challenges that you know that you're going to endure over the next 8 weeks, over the next week. 8 weeks might be too big a chunk to do, I think. Like within 8 weeks, I know there's quite a lot going on in my life. So maybe have a think first of all in the next week or 2 weeks. Well, so you might be going away. Those challenges might be things like going away on holiday, loads on with work. It might be you're suffering with tiredness and energy. It might be menopause. It might be to do with menstrual cycle. Think about your challenges, things that is going to come and happening. So if you are on wanting to increase exercise in your life, and you know you have a really busy time at work, then you know that's going to be a challenge. Has anyone got any challenges that they can share, that they're happy to share what they might be coming up? Just unmute and speak.
Yeah, I'll share. I'm happy to share. Can you hear me?
Go on, Karen.
Yeah, I think for me, my challenges are around work. I work part-time, but it's not the kind of work where there's any end. Yeah, it's very difficult to finish within the hours that I should. So I find that a challenge because ideally what I would like is to be able to do more sort of exercise activity, sort of on a daily basis, but just something that is achievable for me. So yeah, it very much depends on what's going on with work.
Yeah, work is hard, isn't it? And you can't really do much better. It's just trying to find that time around it, isn't it? Even though it's 10, 15 minutes. But it's quite nice to go somewhere and do a class or something as well, isn't it? Well, hopefully Trainerise can help you a little bit. Everyone on here has got a bit of Trainerise action going on. So yeah, and there's lots of opportunities for exercise as well. With Trainerise on demand, and I know it's all there as and when you want it, which is actually quite hard for motivation. It is there for you, you know. Okay, so you've got your challenges, right? And then the next thing is thinking about calories. So you don't have to track calories, but actually if you track calories just for a little bit, it's really insightful as to what you're eating. Some people here, you might not actually need to track calories because you've tracked them so much before. And also tracking calories can be triggering. So tracking calories can actually make you go the other way and eat more. And we don't want that to happen. We don't want the reset to be a negative impact on you. So with your calories, again, I would go for a range of calories. And I imagine it is probably going to be anything from 1350 to 1750. So it's going to be quite a large range because you're going to have some days that you're not as active and you don't need as much. And then those days you might be, okay, I can have 1350 calories. You might have some days when you're exhausted and you actually do need more food. So they go up to 1750. And it is just being aware when it keeps going up like above 2000, that's usually when things need to change. But very often when you're in the reset, you're not really getting over 2000 calories a day. It might be, it happens at weekends if you're having a bottle of wine and big bag of crisps. That is still trackable. And that's when you might be having 2500, 3000 calories. But in our mindset, we go, oh, it's Friday night. It doesn't matter. It's 9:30 on a Friday night, the bottle of red wine. I always try not to drink red wine on a Friday night, and I end up drinking at 9:30 on a Friday night. So it still happens, it's still there. So if you want to track, you track everything, including your snacks, and it is really insightful. If you start to feel it becoming negative, you stop tracking, but you just become aware, more aware, mindful. I do a lot of chatting about emotional eating, mindful eating throughout the whole course as well. But if you want me to talk to you personally about calories, do so, but give yourself a range. And if you're weighing yourself each week, if you are on weight loss, then you can see if there's no weight loss, that means we might need to increase your macros. If you want the macro targets, if you want to look at your macronutrients, which are your proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, on MyFitnessPal, track them. And then you'll want to try and have at least 20% of protein across your day. If not, up to 40%. Now, anyone who's not tracking, that is fine. Have a protein source in at least 2 out of 3 meals, and then it should be 20% protein. Here's Simon come in. Matthew, you're going to have Yeah, so your protein is the macronutrient that you want to increase, because that is what helps you become leaner, it helps you become fuller, it nourishes your body, it helps the repair of your muscles, your bones. It is really, really good for you. So you don't have to be tracking, but just be aware of your protein. So, and then this comes around. So say you've got your calories, you're being aware, you've cut down on the high fat, high sugar foods, then you come around, and then each week you can go, okay, right, so I'm going to check in with those goals. Am I getting those non-scale wins? Look back at your notes you've just done today. Have I got my Ranger scale? Have I got weight loss? If I haven't got weight loss, have I got some non-scale wins? It's not always going to be about weight loss. Look back at your challenges. So each week you'll then look back at your challenges. Well, I knew that this week was I'm working long hours, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I knew that was going to be really hard time. So I have planned some meals and I had them, or I planned some meals, but I didn't eat them. So what can I do next week to make that better? So it's always thinking about what's my barriers, what are my challenges, how can I work around them, what is the solution, and keep doing different things. And the reset group, the Facebook group, is where you can share that. Say, I've got some really long days. We had Poppy, Joe, you might remember this, in a recent reset, and she would go to London and she'd be like, this is a real challenge for me. And then she'd post on the group, I found this tweet, and oh, actually I'm quite full because I've had this and this and this. So it's about sharing and caring. Okay, I'm going to give you some markers and you can write these down, give yourself a score out of 10, how you're feeling right now, and then you can look back at it next week. So out of 10, 10 out of 10 being lots of them, your cravings. Have you got lots of cravings for anything sweet, sugary, high fat? If you have no cravings, then it's 0 out of 10. If you have lots of cravings, 10 out of 10. You might want to write yourself a little key by it to remind you, because you might want to do it the other way. You might be able to be saying, you know, so I would say if I had loads of cravings, I'd be going 10 out of 10. Because I know cravings is a big thing in this group. It always is. Okay, and then the next one is your mood. So just write cravings, something out of 10. Your mood, how you feel out of 10. So for this one, I would say if you're feeling really smiley and good, that's 10 out of 10. Maybe do a little smiley equals 10 out of 10. So you've got a little key. Your energy. So what cravings, mood, energy. So if you're feeling really energetic, 10 out of 10 or not. Cravings, mood, energy. I have all these written down. I'm not just making them up from the top of my head, by the way. Sleep. So if your sleep is really good, maybe put a little smiley face, equals 10 out of 10. How are you for sleep? Now, I can sleep anywhere. So sleep is always my one. But I have before had not had good sleep. I had insomnia when I was poorly and it was awful. So I had a lot of support with that. So I can help you with sleep. And I've done a lot of studying to sleep. Stress, how you are out of 10. So I'm going to go through them again with you. So you're setting yourself out of 10. Cravings, mood, energy, sleep. So I'm recording this, so you can watch this back as well. And I'll write it all up. I'll do some little questionnaire or something. Have I done stress out of 10? How you are. So if you're feeling really stressed, that's probably 10 out of 10. Give yourself a little key, because you'll be able to see a pattern in a minute. Your digestion, there's only 2 more. Your digestion out of 10. So if your digestion is really good, give it 10 out of 10. And then the final one is your recovery. So recovery means things like when you do a workout, how you feel afterwards. If you're feeling awful, so if your recovery is good, give yourself 10 out of 10. If it's not, go down. But that could also be like we were chatting then about long days at work. If long day at work you're exhausted, then recognize it and give yourself 3 out of 10. Okay, so for those markers, I'm going to go through them again quickly. You've got, write these down. You've got your cravings, your mood, your energy, your sleep, your stress, your digestion, your recovery. All of them. I've got 7. Did I say more than 7? Right, the ones that were really low marked, give them a circle or put an arrow by them or get a nice coloured pen they're the ones you want to focus on this week. If they're all 7 of them are low, then just choose 1 or 2 of them, because you can't do everything at once. And can you see with goal setting already, it's not just going, I'm going to run 5K in 2 weeks. It's about deeper, you know, so we're talking about non-scale wins, range of scale wins, challenges, metabolic markers, and I am nearly done with all these, the goal settings. Good, it's interesting, isn't it? Do you want to share anything that they've just found, or more than welcome to? Okay, we've done calories. Okay, it's 1, 2, 3. 3 more things I'm going to talk about. So social situations is to plan for. So think about the next week, and think about the social situations that could happen that is going to be harder, which might mean you can't get your exercise in, you might be drinking more alcohol, you might be eating more food, might be staying up late. So think of the social situations and have a think about them and what you can do to counteract them. So it might be the next day you need more sleep, or it might be prepping. If you're going out for a meal, have a short snack before. If you're going out for a meal, you can always look at the menus before. I'll talk through more of that with the reset as well. Okay, so I'm going to do one more. So the final one for the goal setting is going to be about your non-negotiables. So non-negotiables are the things that you do day in, day out. And this comes from looking at those non-scale wins, from looking at your scale wins, looking at your challenges, your markers. So what are your non-negotiables going to be for this week? So don't have any more than 3. So non-negotiables might be for this week to exercise, to do some strengthening. I'm going to say 3 times a week, because if you're on Trainer-Ride, you can literally do it for 10 minutes. And every single little bit of strengthening works, even if it's for 3 minutes. Every single bit is strengthening your muscles. Every bit helps. You might think, oh, I've only got 5 minutes. But actually, if you picked up some weights and you just did a little bit of shoulder press or something, every single bit is strengthening your muscles. So non-negotiables, have a think about what you're going to have for that. It might be you want to have 7 to 9 hours sleep. Non-negotiables might be, like we've been talking about cravings, it might be you want to restrict and you say, actually, I'm not going to have any Cadbury's chocolate Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or I'm not going to drink any wine. You do not have to do that, though. You might just want to pull back, or you might just want to track it in calories. I am not telling anyone to cut anything out of their diet, because actually sometimes it doesn't work. You cut it out and then you just eat more. But it depends what your goals are. You know, if your goal is you want weight loss, you want to feel trimmer, you want to feel leaner, then you probably do want to increase your protein and cut back on things like alcohol, high fat, high sugar. But you probably still want to have it in moderation. But it's when it becomes too much, isn't it? That's when it becomes a problem. So, yeah. So that's it. The other thing that will be a really good thing to discuss is swaps, which will help you for your goals. So what you want to swap. So for example, say you're wanting to restrict chocolate. Chocolate is my thing. That's why I keep coming back to chocolate. So for example, I know in the group, Kirsten put about she was going to have chocolate Weetabix, yum. You could have fat-free Greek yogurt. You could have a low calorie hot chocolate instead. So think of some swaps to help you with those non-negotiables. So yeah, so that's about it for goal setting. To help you with your goal setting, the Facebook group is pretty active. I'm always popping stuff on there. I think the Facebook group becomes a bit of a full-time job in itself. I love it. I love doing the nutrition coaching through this platform. I love it. I think you can take it as much or as little as you want. You can be, scrolling through it, but what would be really brilliant if you can engage as much as you can, because then it will bring the Facebook back up on your feed and it makes people feel that you're part of it as well. So even if it's just an emoji or a smile or a comment on anything, it is great, and it just shows you're in it to win it. And some things I'll say and you'll be like, oh, Kirsty, be quiet, and that's fine, you can write that on there. But nutrition coaching is not about me writing food plans for you, though I do have food plans on the website and I can help you with that. But this is about transforming your life positively. That's a bit full on, isn't it? But yeah, so that's good. So I have been recording this, so I'm going to stop recording this so I can have a bit more of a chat with people here. But just those who are listening to this on replay, then just get in touch with any questions.